Hey everybody, it's David. I'm back. Hey, I've been gone actually. Thanks for stopping by tonight, guys. So tonight we are doing a copy of a master's work. This is something I thought about this last weekend. I was just in my studio looking through a lot of my old books from my college art days, art school days, and I have loads and loads of books that I had used when I was back then, and we just used to go through, and then I would paint a lot of the paintings inside those books. And so I thought it would be a good idea to try that this week. And Nita Engle was somebody that northern Wisconsin, I think she lived, and the Dillmans up at Dillman's, they know her really well. That she taught there a lot, and I would have loved it taking one of her workshops. And I was going through her book that I have of hers. I was just amazed at her work. I mean, I never knew she was that great a painter. Just simply amazing. So I chose this one because it was willow tree in it, and so I've always wanted to try a willow tree and make it look good like this one. And I had done it already this afternoon. It's going to be a little bit harder one because we are copying from somebody, and I didn't quite finish it all the way. Here's what I had done this afternoon. Didn't get it finished all the way, and so there's a couple things I want to change about it. But I'm learning. You learn from each one you do, and so this one we're going to be learning what Nita Engle tried to do. And I don't know. Haven't read that book actually to see actually if she used masking fluid or certain things. But I can kind of tell sometimes by looking at the picture. Doing so many paintings, I can kind of tell some of the things she had done by doing that. Anyways, so, and then also, if you ever have a problem with a certain kind of thing and you've seen other artists do that, go ahead and try it. Look at the book and try to copy it from the book. You're not copying it and trying to sell it as your own. You're doing it to hopefully help yourself out, and that's why I put books out. I put my books out because I want people to learn. And so if you copy my stuff from my book, it's fine. Just don't go then and try to sell it and make it as your own. That's basically what they don't want. Our artists want you to do is steal our ideas, or not even ideas, but steal our paintings. All right, and so, but for me, like when we're doing this on Thursday nights, we're using imagery. Now, when we do this one is copywritten. This is a copywritten painting, but don't go out there and just you want to give this to somebody or even sell it. Just put that this is a Nita Engle copy. It's after you just put in your name, you put after Nita Engle, because we are copying her work, and so we're hopefully going to help ourselves out. So hello everybody. This week we're drinking a Arrow Brow. It's a Bavarian lager, and so we're going to try this out, and we'll toast you on this and see what this tastes like. Brewed in traditional Bavarian manner, it says on the bottle. So. And I gotta learn how to pour these things so I can actually take a sip right out of it. Oh boy. Alright, we got the whole thing in there. Okay. Let me just let this down a little bit, and then when the foam goes down a little bit so I can actually taste it, I'll let you know. And let's see who's all here today. So we got Barbara, Paula, Sue, Tina, Maura, Phil, Monica, and Barbara. Thanks so much, guys, for coming by, and I'm sure we're gonna get a lot more. We always get some stragglers coming in. And so this week, let me just tell anybody that's new here that my website is here, BeckerArt.net, and DavidRBecker.com or DavidRBecker.com, and this is where you can find out anything I'm doing. And they still haven't fixed my live thing of this, and I'm not sure why they can't go live on my website. They said there's some kind of problem in their end, but they still haven't fixed it yet, but oh well. So that's my website if you want to find out what I'm doing, where I'm at, anything like that. Supplies I'm using today are Holbein watercolors, like always, my brushes. I am using Maskoid this week, and so yes, I used the Holbein masking fluid. I'll show you where I put it and how I used it. And I used a little bit into the other this afternoon, but I could have used more. And so that's what we're doing. Value study, I don't have to do a value study because this is a painting. And so we don't have to, we're just copying a painting. We're trying to see what kind of style she had used, trying to see what colors she was using. And so it's not about, we don't have to lay anything out. We don't have to make anything better or worse. We're just copying her style and seeing what it was that she had done in her watercolors. And so we're just going to see how it works. And so you don't need to actually look for a value pattern. It's already done for you. I mean, this value pattern is beautiful. You have everything on that's dark. This whole tree basically is the dark. And this is basically a yin-yang design where this side's light, with a little bit of dark in here, and this side's the dark with a little bit of light in here. So basically yin-yang. It's a very neat design, and so that's very simple. And so we're gonna see how to paint this now. We're gonna see and see how she went along doing this. All right, and so let me taste my beer and cheer you guys on and see what rating, 1 to 11, remember. Good Bavarian, good Bavarian. A little bitter for my taste, but I'm going to give it a 9. It's not bad, but it's just a little bit bitter. And I'm not a very IPA guy because I don't like my beers too bitter, but this one's not bad. This is number 9. So cheers, everybody. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Let's put that over here so I don't put shadows on my painting. Actually, that's kind of, let me see if it's better over here. There we go. Maybe I don't want it making a shadow on our work. And also, if anybody that's new here, please ask questions. Let me put this over here because it's actually in my way. I can't read your questions if you do have them. So if you have questions, please, please, please put them on the chat on the side. And I look up every once in a while when I start painting. And so let me just show you. Here's the masking fluid I used. It's Holbein masking fluid. And I use these brushes I buy from Jerry's Artorama, or I think Blick's has them, and they come in a package of 6. There's 3 of these little ones. And then they have like a 1/4-inch one. They got 3 of those. And I don't put any soap or anything like that. I just put them in the water, clean them off once in a while like this, go like that. But when I go to paint it, I just dip it into the masking fluid, and I put some on the bird itself, the crane or the heron, whatever this bird is, and I put that on him because he is white, though he is actually darker. But I don't want to make a nice, beautiful wash behind him. Now these, if you look closely to this part right here, let me just show you real quick. If you let's go back to the value pattern, and I can tell you. So right here is the part where I put some of this. I could have put like water or the yellows down for these images because this is negative painted basically. Or she may have used masking fluid for these little leaves right here. I tried to do them by painting around them this afternoon, and it was just way too difficult. And I'm thinking that maybe she put masking fluid down here first after she puts a wash of yellow, or you can also do it afterwards too, put a little bit of yellow on top of that. So I put masking fluid to make these little leaves. These are positive against the light, so those I don't have to put in. But anywhere there's a little leaves that were positive, I put a little bit of masking fluid there. We'll see how it goes. A lot of times you would put down a wash of yellow first. Let me just go back to the tabletop. And so if you put like a wash down here first of yellow, then put the masking fluid on, so then when you take it off, you have the yellow behind it. Well, I don't have time to do that, and so I can't wait for the pigment to dry or the masking fluid to dry while I'm doing this in an hour. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to make it white, but then afterwards I'll just put a little kind of coat, or I can take a little airbrush and spray over it and get the yellow back in there. A different way of doing it, but I probably didn't do that way. But we're just going to try to see how far we can go and make it kind of like looking like this. I'm going to try to use the same colors too. Basically, we're copying it. It's just a copy of this master's work, Nita Engle. All right, and so let's start out with the lights background. So I'm going to go get the lighting in back there. And you see I cleaned out my palette this afternoon because I made a mess on it this afternoon. So I did kind of go in there and clean it a little bit. So I'm going to wet the whole thing. I'm going to wet the whole paper because I want soft edges, right? I'm going to work the background first. And I'm just going to wet where I'm going to be painting. And that's pretty much all of this right into the water. And you notice I'm going over the bird and these things because that's got masking fluid on there. I like that, Mel. After David R. Becker, after Nita. No, you don't have to put my name on there. It's just after Nita. It's her painting. I'm just helping you out to see how to do this, but that's pretty good. After David Becker, after Nita Engle. That's too much to put in your signature. All right, and so let's start out with a little bit of orangey yellow. My yellow has green in it, so I'm gonna just push that out of their way a little bit here. Orange and yellow. I'm gonna go right in here, and I love how she has that little bit of sunlight shining through there. I always like to put in there. I like to have contrast, and I like to have mood and feeling in your painting. So it's got a lot of nice orange right in here. You know, right where the willow starts and where the sun is shining. It's not as bright as I normally do, but I'm just going to try to copy what she has there. A little bit of orange. Just orange is a little messy, so I'm going to just put it to the side here a little bit. There we go. I'll put a little bit of that. And then right away, I'm going to put in the water down here because that's going to be the water, right? And so we're gonna reflect that in there sooner or later. We gotta put it in there. Then it goes from like a kind of a yellowy, kind of right to a blue in this area. Take a little bit of ultramarine and then just put that in the corner here. Let that bleed in. And this is orange, so it shouldn't go too green. So hopefully that'll be fine. A little bit of more blue in there. This is almost too blue, right? Because hers is a little bit grayer. And because it was from my book, I actually took the picture from the book that I had. I'm sure that's not exactly the right colors anyways. So just get close. You don't have to be exact to what she has there. And just kind of look for the values and try to get the technique down. You try to see if you can't get the technique going. I'm just going to bleed that into it this way. That's the light, right? And so we go down to here, and right away I'm going to get the background. Go right into the background. When copying a painting, would you make it the same size as the original? The one is 19. No, I don't think that matters as much. Though this one's bigger, so I'm doing it small. So it probably was easier for her to do that negative painting, and maybe she even did that. But and even then the bird would be a little bit bigger, so you can get a little bit more detail in it. But don't think about chopping it to the exact. You don't have to. If you want, you can, to see what it felt like and how she's doing it. That's fine. Thanks for the question. Let's see, we're going to go in here and get this background I said. And so I'm going to make it kind of lavendery blue. I'm just going to go in here and just kind of bring in that right into the background. That's the background you notice back there. I should have a wire here that's blocking my way as I can't see the actual picture. Too far over, sorry. There we go. So let me see, we got this going through here. And then we got the tree. We can put the tree in right away too. We can do that right away, which I didn't do during class because I was doing stages, but here I can do it right away because I have to finish the whole painting in an hour, basically. So I put make a little bit of green with that, and so I'm going to dip into quinacridone gold to get my green. And so I'm just going to put like the little bit of like branches that look like branches with leaves on them. And I'm sure she did that in the wet, because how else would you get a soft edge? So you know that she did this wet in the wet. You know that because, again, when you're experiencing, you know how to get certain things done, and you look at it and go, that's a soft edge, so of course she did that while it's wet. You can't get a soft edge unless your paper is wet. So wet your paper, and then learn how to use enough paint so that it goes and bleeds only so far. You know, and that's what I've been teaching you quite a bit, and a lot of you guys have it. And great job for those of you who had done the horse last week. Great job. You know, I'm very impressed because I'm not a very good horse painter. Very impressed. And also we had somebody in class today ask if I could maybe do a third camera as a close-up like camera. And so like, let's say if you want to see this really close up, which you had like to see in the reflections last week, I would bring a third camera, maybe put the picture up here, like in this area, and then just have a really close-up of this little spot right there so that you could tell what it is I'm doing really close up. And that's actually a very good suggestion. And I do have another camera that I could possibly use for that. And so we'll be trying that and maybe coming paint-alongs. Always give suggestions to me if you feel like there's something you want to see, or I can make it better, these paint-alongs. And I'm always looking for critique. It's fine. I won't get mad. I'm just going to be happy that somebody tells me that, you know, I would have loved to scene it a little bit closer up, and that's fine. We love that. All right, so we're just going down. And I did put masking fluid here for some of these, what do you call those, lily pads. And so I was going to rub them out this afternoon, but it ended up that I didn't get dark enough, so I figure I'm just going to put the masquerade on. That way, for sure, I've got the look of the darkness of that, and then I'll get light. So no matter what I put here, this will be darker than the white paper. So then the lily pads will be sticking out there. I will show you how I take masking fluid off today, and so that's always the problem, is like getting the masquerade off the paper. And sometimes people wreck their picture, and that's how come they don't like using masking fluid. But I have a special rubber cement pickup, and that'll be all good. And so, and as I'm going along, I did the background now here, and that's going to be pretty good. I'm going to leave like the detailed darks in there for later. It's just enough lights And this she had gotten darker, it looks like. Let me just see. Looks like she got that a little bit darker, and right from the get-go. So I'm going to put a little bit darker. And see, I washed on my palette. Now I don't have any of those darks left, and so I got to go back into my palette and pick up some of those darks. That's how I like to keep my palette dirty. That way I don't have to go back into this dark and get that again. You know, it's already been there. You know, get some darks and leave them there. And if they're the grays, that's awesome because then the grays help out your colors because you don't actually have the color gray, but if you mix all these stuff together, you get these beautiful grays. I like to leave them there. And then just reflect them in the water here, coming down. All right, so right now, I figure let's go right into our tree. You know, because a lot of the tree is soft edged, and so let's just go in with our tree. I'm going to use my round brush. Use my brown brush. And again, anybody that's new here, please ask questions. I don't stop like a paint along where you paint along and I stop in a classroom. You just have to stop. If you are painting along, actually, then you have to stop the video. It'll keep it going, but then you won't be live anymore. You'll be a little bit behind what we're doing, but it'll still be the same thing. You just keep on going. And I really strongly suggest that you just watch, and then later on, when you're going to go to paint it, which I think most of you guys do, is just do it afterwards. You know, do it in your time and your own free time. And then, though, if you want to do it right away, that's fine too, and try to speed up. But it's going to be hard to, you know, go right along with me because you have to look up and also paint at the same time and look. That's a little bit too hard to do. But I call them paint-alongs because even when you are at home at your own time, you're still painting along with me. So we're still having fun, and you can still ask me questions even after it's done. You can put it into the comment section, and I answer it even in the comment section right on YouTube. And also please subscribe if you're. It helps me out a little bit, and paying for my newsletter. My newsletter goes out every Tuesday. And subscribe to my channel and tell all your friends about this free paint-alongs. The more people you get watching, the better it is for me. And for you guys too. Because I'm going to keep on doing it. Just keep on going. I pick up a lot of students that go to my shops and to my workshops, when I'm doing workshops live. I've gotten a lot of you coming to those workshops and stuff. And it's fun to meet you when I've been here the whole time. And it almost seems like it's nice to know I just met Paula. Hey Paula, or Pamela, last weekend at my Addison workshop. I did in Addison, Wisconsin, Addison, Illinois. And as I was driving home, though, I went through the worst rainstorm I've ever been through. Boy, I should have pulled over, I think. It was one of those kind of thing where you can't see a thing out of your window. Anyways, just keep on going. See, I'm just doing this all wet in the wet. I'm not doing any hard edges yet. I'm just getting kind of the middle tones to darks now. And because you're coming forward, and I'm using greens and orange and lime greens and connected gold, because there's a lot of gold in there. And it gets really dark really quickly, and I can use violets to make it brown, kind of. She looks like she used some like earth tones in here too. Get some more greenery. I like to get more of a grayish green, darkish green. I don't like that really high-end light green that doesn't look natural in nature. That's how come I don't have green on my palette, because I can just mix it more with the blues and the connectum gold. I can mix my own greens. You just have to watch that you keep them nice and natural looking, not vibrant, because really if you're out there, those are not vibrant greens. There may be some lime green because the light's hitting them, and it becomes very light green. But that's about how you're gonna go. You want to go to these dark greens that kind of look like too potent greens. They don't look natural. In nature, things are very, very gray. If you're out there plein air painting, you notice that it's a lot of. Actually, I'm gonna do some spattering here too. Oh, I spattered right over there. Why did I do that? Okay. Good thing it's dry, huh? I would have ruined that whole thing. Just put something over it. If you are spattering and doing things like that to get texture in your thing, make sure you cover areas you don't want that spattered. And also my computer screen, I have to start doing that, but then I can't see you guys. Hey Sonia, hey Barbie, hey Paula. See you guys, keep on coming in little by little. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for coming by and watching. All right, and so now I'm not going to worry about this as I did before. And one thing nice about this masking fluid from Holbein is that it repels the paint. So when I go over it, it's going to stay light, and it'll show you the lightness. And so I can kind of see what I'm getting myself into, like by putting that there. And so see if you can just see, it just kind of repels it, and you can see it. You can see the little leaves I put in there. A little orange and green, gold. It's very wet. She was great with doing wet into wet and letting things float. I mean, that's one thing I love about, I've been teaching you guys the last couple of weeks, is all about losing your edges. And she was I mean, look at that. She had so many in her book that lost edges. Oh, it's just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Love it. I wish I would have known about her a little bit sooner when I was like a student and I have taken some of her workshops. I would have loved to have taken. I heard she's a great teacher. And because again, the Robertsons up at Dillman's knew her really well and helped her out a lot with doing classes at Dillman's up north. And I'm gonna do these little positive. Let me get this off of here. I'm gonna get these positive leaves now, and so with those, I'm gonna do that trick with my brush that I showed you guys before with pine needles. Well, you can do it also with like these kind of needles because it's just you're using the end of your brush to kind of get the little, I don't know, leaf life thing happening. For any of you that hadn't seen that before, I'll show you in a second. Let me just get this going here because I can't stop right at the moment because it's wet right here, and I just gotta make sure it's still nice and wet and damp, so I get a nice floaty edge. Even though this part has to be dry because I'm getting my darker leaves and my light leaves, and then I'll go with my really dark leaves. But for now, we're getting our lights and medium tones. Now my super darks, like over here, is gonna be really dark. I'm not doing that yet. I'm just getting in there with the wash of medium tones. Hey Becky, watch it. You don't have to actually check in. I'm happy when you guys do check in just so I can see who's been, but you don't have to check in. It's not like a required thing to do. But thanks for checking in. And so we're gonna go down here now, wet this area. I'm gonna do the water down here right away too, and that is a soft edge. So I'm gonna use my sprayer, my mister, I should say, not sprayer. I'm gonna put a little mist right down here because this dried already, but I don't want to put too much water on here because then I want this to just be soft edge enough. And so when you're using this mister, don't directly shoot it. Don't go like this and shoot it down onto it. Take it away like this way and spray it up and let it go, like spray it up and it goes down. Like this is the way the mist should go. If you hold it down and just spray it against it, that's too much water. If you just go from the side and then just let it spray over, it's enough to keep it a wet edge, a soft edge. I mean, oh, actually, I put little dots there now. Boy, let's see. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so then let's go in here and get our water done right away. Now I don't know exact color that this area is going to be, but I'm just going to guess that it's going to have a little bit of the greenery and blue, and I do want to get some of the darks in here right away. And so I'm just going to put that in. This is my center of interest too, so I want them really nice and dark right here. So let's get a little bit of greenery in there, nice and dark. And as I go away from that area, I'm going to get close up to the where the dark leaves will be. This will be the reflection of those leaves in the water. Come down here, grab a little bit of this red, and just kind of keep them going down. And then that orange, remember that orange from on top here, let's put a little bit of that in there. It's going to reflect too. And just think about the reflections of this is water, it's like a mirror. Now there's no waves in this, so you don't have to worry about like little waves. And so you don't have to do anything with waves. This is all almost like a mirror. Like it's just reflecting what's above it. I like to keep it soft edge though, so that it looks soft. You don't need to have hard edges there to make it look nice and real. So I'm gonna go in here, put the little leaves in there too. They will be later. I'll make darker ones there, but these are the light ones, and looks like I have a little bit of nice lavender. And look at how nice this comes together over here. So see how nice and wet it made. It didn't soak it, but it just made it wet enough so that I could just have soft edges. and I lost the reflection of the bird in there. I kind of also like to clean it up so that when later on, so I'm gonna just take and pull a little bit of that out of there with my brush. I'm just pulling a little bit of that out of there. That way I have my back to the light, but I don't have to make it look exactly like that bird, but enough to just know that that area is gonna be light and soft edged. Put a little bit of blue in this area. Let's see, it's got, oh, I forgot, it's got to have some lily pads this way too. So I'll do some soft lily pads, and then later on I'll put some hard edge lily pads that'll be in there later. All right. So not exactly like hers, but getting close, close enough. Again, and also when you're copying something, I'm not gonna like those people that go to the Art Institute and copy to exact every brushstroke to be exactly. I'm not thinking about that. I don't want to make a copy of it completely exactly like this. I'm just looking for the styles that she had done and some of the things, colors that she used, the lost edges that she'd done. I'm just trying to get a little bit of that and seeing how she used that with with a tree like this or a willow or the bird and stuff. So you're kind of just experimenting and seeing how she had done things. I don't care if it's exactly identical to hers. I'm just trying to learn from it. Just trying to see what she had done with certain things. And I have a lot of Pikes. I did a lot of copying of John Pikes, and I've done a lot of Ogden M. Pleisner, who I think I showed you the book last week or the 1 week before. And every time I go to Vermont, they got his studio in the Shelbourne Museum in Burlington, Vermont. They actually have his studio set up, and they have his own little gallery there. One of my favorite artists, Ogden M. Pleisner. If you're ever in Burlington, Vermont, go up there and check it out. It's just amazing. And so now I've got pretty much my middle tones, and kind of got too much dark here because look at this is going through here. And so what do? Right away, if I notice that I have it, I'm just going to take my brush and peel away some of this color. I'm going to pick it up because I want this to be looking like it's lighter through here, right? And so I'm just going to pick up that pigment I put down and just get it back. You don't have to keep it there. I'm not scrubbing it. I'm just letting it run back into my brush. I'm wiping my brush on my towel here, and I'm just picking up some of this color that I put down. Now that's from the first brush, so that's okay. I just don't want it too dark because that way I don't get that nice look of this being in shadow and a reflection of this tree in the water. And so I'll be putting later on, I'll be putting it a little bit darker here too, just to get a little bit of that happening a little bit more distinctive. And then also I'll know exactly what color I put up here with the dark, and I'll put that into the, oh, I forgot, that's the bird. Reflection of the bird. I went right over it again. Get that out of there again. Okay, there's only so many times you can do that though, because it'll sink into the paper, because each time it's wet, it'll sink into the paper more and more, so you don't want to do that too many times. All right, and so let's see, where can I go from here? Is that dry yet? Yeah, that's dry. So let me get the background done, and then by that time this will be dry, and we can just go in there with our darks and create all the darks. So on this side, I'm going to put a little tree trunks in there, and watch out when you're putting trunks into a tree. Don't just put it on the outside of the leaves. Make sure you break it up a little bit, otherwise it'll look like the leaves are all on one side of the tree. And so you break it up, and then the bottom here looks like it's okay. She had done that, and I like to make it where the branch goes and you break it off a little bit so it starts here, and then there's leaves right there, and then bring it down this way. And so see how I left a little spot in there so that it looks like there's leaves on other parts of the tree. So, and I don't want to make this really contrasty either, because this is far back there, and I don't want it to be, and like she did, hers are a little bit more contrasty right here, and actually she had this nice mist back there, and I just went through that. Oh well, I can always rub that out too. I thought I had the book in front of me. Oh yeah, I have the book in front of me. So if you want to find a book, I will put the book into the this is the book that I got it from, How to Make a Watercolor Paint Itself. And so this is the book that I had gotten this picture out of. And so if you want to get that, I will put it into the comment section of the video with a link to go get it on Amazon, and they have it available. So that's the book I got it out of. And boy, there's some beautiful work in there. Absolutely gorgeous work. I didn't read it yet. I'm being an artist. I always just look at pictures. So one of these days I actually got to read it and see what some of her techniques are. Because I'm sure she has techniques in there. And I guess I should have read it before I did this, huh? Too many things to do. And so I'm just scraping it up here. I'm going to rub this out again because I like how she has the mist. And so I'm just going to rub it out. I'm just going to rub it out, the mist. And just really lightly rub with my brush. And then take a paper towel and just dab it. I'll get my mist back. See, I just get a little bit of the mist happening here. Dab a little bit. Alright, let's go into our tree now. And see how the masking fluid, that is masking fluid. So that is going to be my light area. And so I just have to remember that I'm going to probably make that yellow later because I don't want it white. It's going to be the yellowish green leaves. But now we're just going to get the darks. And so I'm going to go up here and pull, let's see, I'm going to do this with my, I like that 1/4 inch brush to get the branches. And so that's probably pretty dry up there. And so here is, this is Middelzone brown. It's a brown color. I like to put some other colors into that though, because I just don't like it by itself. So I'm putting a little bit of blue in there into the brown. And Middelzone brown. Don't know how to spell that, but it's a really long word. But any brown will do. This is kind of a purpley brown, and people know that I love purple, so that's how come I like this brown. And we're just going to come over here and get a bunch of little, use my rigger brush, get those little branches going. I like the rigger brush because it's almost like a branch. I call it my branch brush because it's really nice and thin. You can just keep on going. And remember, when you're doing a willow, the branches start, but then they start hanging down. They willowy down. They willow their way down. So make these come this way. Then you have some in the back just coming down this way. Now, you notice I left some parts masquerade up here too because I wanted the sun to shine through there here and there. And so that's why the reason I put those there. And then there's a lot of branches back here. You know, you almost can't put enough branches in some spots. Just all kinds of branches. Any questions? Boy, I hadn't looked up for a while. If you had more time, would you mask more leaves in the tree at this point after it would dry? Yeah, probably I would. If it was a big painting, I would probably do that color and then put masking fluid on top of that color. That way I have a lot more leaves that are hard edged and I don't have to go around them all, because the problem we were having this afternoon was that it would take forever to do a negative painting of this size, even this 1/4 sheet, and go around every one of those leaves. So it's easier just to do it with a masking fluid. But yeah, I would definitely do that. What do you think about masking out the reflection of the heron? I wouldn't do that because that's too hard edged, and it's not like I would just rub it out afterwards, or maybe use white paint afterwards. But I wouldn't put masking fluid because masking fluid gives you a really super hard edge, and I don't think you need a hard edge for the heron's reflection, especially if you want to keep it soft and moody. I wouldn't do that then. It probably wouldn't be bad if it was wavy, really wavy and stuff, like a sparkle of that, but I wouldn't do it for this one. Any more questions? Paula says she used a Chinese brush to paint the willow foliage. Oh, that's a good idea. I don't have that one with me. I have that one really dragon tail brush or whatever that's really long. I can use that also for the branches. So use what you feel you want to try. You know, it's always good to try different things and see. You know, that's why you're doing this. You're trying new things, trying a different style, trying to do something that you've done before. You want to see another artist did something. And if you like what that artist had done, like I loved how this painting turned out for Willow. So then it helps you also learn how to do a willow tree and maybe try to copy that, so that next time when you do one on your own, you're doing, you know, the basic elements to do that, not doing every leaf, but letting some of it be blended in and some of soft edges. Because my problem was that I was making everything so hard edged. When everything's so hard edged, I wasn't losing any edges. It's just a bunch of leaves all over the place, and you got nothing but these textures all over the place. Which can be fine too if you're going like picture perfect, like where you want everything to be exact like what the picture is. But I'm an impressionist, so I like to have an impression of what the picture is, not actually what the photograph is actually exact-wise. So now I'm going here with a nice dark color. I'm going to pick up this nice dark through here. There's my tree. How much time do we have? Oh, we just got to 7 o'clock. That's fine. We got plenty of time. Plenty of time to finish. And so here I'm going with my really nice darks. And I'm playing along that this is kind of dry here. Now it's a lot drier, but there's still some wet spots. So what I can do is I can use some of that where it gets a watermark as foliage. So it gives me a texture. I want to make this real nice and dark. And look at, I got reflections. How did that happen? I should put a puck underneath there. I have these new pucks that I found at the thing. Oh, well, we'll get that later. Not enough time right now. And so we're going to go in here with green. Let's put the masking fluid underneath there. Oh, that's even worse. What the heck did I do with my lighting? I must have really screwed up my lighting here. There we go. You have to hold up the side. So we'll put it on the side here. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm always messing with the lighting, trying to figure out the best lighting. I actually got to clean out my studio so I can have more space for this whole setup. I can make the lights farther away from me, because the closer they are, the more shadows you get. And so you want to have the lights nice and far away, but very bright. And so we're going to go in here, make some dark through here. I'm going to scumble a little bit here. Scumble being I'm just going to like tap and get texture. It's kind of like a dry brush. It's dry here, so I'm taking my side of my brush over it and just scumbling it a little bit. A little bit more green in here, I think. A little bit more dark green. And then we do have, what I'm gonna do is do that effect of like leaves in this watery part right here. Get effects, and I am gonna spatter again. So where's my paper towel? I'm gonna cover this side. It just makes, it's nice. I know that some people use toothbrushes, like I know Dale Popovich uses a toothbrush to get his texture. That's good too. You know, whatever way you want to do it. I like to tap my brush and just get it like this. And then I'll give me some light colors. And if it's wet there, then it'll turn into a nice little blast of foliage type of thing, and it'll look nice and leaf-like. And it'll be soft edge because it's a little wet still there. And then there's a couple parts that are hard edge, so those dots will look like hard edge leaves. I'm not sure if that's the way she did that, but I'm doing that. So you're copying me then. Copying me, the master. All right, here we go. All right, and so this part is a little bit darker now too, and so I'm gonna get in there, get some more darks through here. Keeping it still trying to foliage like. I mean, this is all foliage, and so it looks messy, but that's what it is. It's messy. It's a messy area, so don't worry about it if it looks messy. That's what you're going for. You're going for messy. Just away from there, just show you. We're going for messy. Boy, I never thought I'd say that. Going for messy. So this is a little bit darker. The darker I make this area, then that makes the light that's shining through there a little bit lighter. You know, the darker the darks make the lighter lights. And then we go down here, and I look for my branches and get a little bit darker little leaves. Again, know how you want to make the leaves. I'm going to take a little bit of orange up here because that's what I want, orange leaves up here. And actually I'm going to sponge that in there a little bit. I'm going to rub it in a little bit with my finger. Lynn says she likes Nita Engle. Yeah, she's a great, and she's going to try this one. Cool. Have fun with this. I mean, this is fun. It's, you know, it's going to be a good painting because it's already been, she made it a great painting. So if you can kind of come close, you're going to make it a great painting too. You just have to learn how she had done that and how she did stuff, and that's why you're doing it. You want to learn how she had taken this beautiful image, you know, and made it this great, great looking painting. You may not hit it exactly on there, but again, like I said, it doesn't have to be exact like that painting. Just go in there and have fun and try to make it look close to what it is. And you're going to do a fine job because it's already, you know, if you have the drawing identical to that and all the stuff happening, it'll be fine. And even if it doesn't turn out, you'll learn something. You know, it's always good to learn. I can't tell you how many times I did this type of thing with John Pike, and like I said, all these other books I had, and even John Singer Sargent did some of his. Just a lot of copying. And my mentor, Irving Shapiro, I would copy his work too, because he basically was teaching us, and so I would go in there and basically copy his work, because I thought that's what he would want me to paint like him, kind of thing. So you're going to get all his techniques and stuff, because in class he would demonstrate, and so I try to copy that. And now this we're gonna make our hard edge lines afterwards. So we've got a lot of greenery over here that I didn't get in yet. So let's put that in there now. Now this is actually a little bit lighter green, so let's put a little bit of yellow and light blue together. A little bit lighter. Alright. It's funny when you're doing foliage, it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of work. This painting is going to be a lot of work. There's a lot of things in there, and I guess you can loosen it up a little bit and make it even looser than that. But she put some time into this painting. I can tell that it took her a while to do this painting, and especially the size that somebody just posted. That's a pretty big size to do a painting like this, so it took some time. And so it should take you some time too. Don't worry about the time. Just get what you need out of it. Just do it as far as you think you want to take it, and learn. Learn. And next time you are out there taking pictures of a little swamp like this, and you see it, then you realize that maybe this background, maybe it wasn't that in the morning, it may have been misty like that, but you can turn it to that, even if it's not like that. You can always do things to the picture that is maybe not there because of your ability to try other things. Like that's the reason we're doing this, is that now I can know how to do maybe a scene like this in a different way than I normally would maybe do it. Here, this is reflections, and then I can go actually around the reflection of the bird. Remember, I said I was going to go with a dark through here, and just bring it down, and then just let it go to the light here, and this will give me the shape of the bird again. And because there is no waves, basically, there's no like ripply waves where you're going to get the ripple like you normally do, so you're not going to get those little Z's I always tell everybody to put in there like you normally do. This is just a nice soft-edged reflection. And then let's do the lily pads right away. Let's get my small round brush. Where'd it go? Here it is. Oh, I keep on wanting to forget that. I want to get some new brushes for myself. Oh, I thought there was some on my screen. There's a bunch of dots on there. I thought it was on here, but that was only on my screen. When I spattered my screen again. So we're going to go in here and get some darks through here. Now this can be detailed because this is the detail area right here. This is my center of interest, so I can go crazy there and get some nice details going on in there. Get the nice colors going in there. There's a lot of foliage there. I mean, if you look at hers, boy, she did some work with the foliage, boy. The thing is, I'm not sure if I have enough time to take this masking fluid off there. I better let this dry now, because otherwise we're not going to have enough time to take it off of there, and I got to show you how to take it off. So let me let that dry, and then I'm just going to work on this area. So we got to take, I should have done that earlier, so that would have dried by now. Oh well, live, it's always live. If you copy the willow, but put in your own background, do you still credit Nita Engle? Well, no, you don't have to credit her if you're making your own design. It's basically, if you're copying like this, but if you have a willow in another position or you're copying her style, then no, it's yours. You can do it on your own. But if you're literally going like this and copying what you see up there, that's copying. So it's not your own. It's definitely not your own. And then just think about it. Like if you can make this kind of tree, but this actually reminded me of a lady that was in my class. She just passed away, Judy, and the reason I did this is because we used to go over to her house and paint, and she had a willow tree just like this, and I would always screw it up. I never did it right, so this is going to be great because now I can do it, and I can see how to do it, but I would. It actually almost looks like her property too, so I could do her look of her tree, and it would be mine. But if it's too close, like if I have the heron right there, yes, that's copying. You just can't have it looking like this. This cannot be redone. This is hers. This is Nita Engle's. Let's see what's going on up here. I said we're gonna let that dry, so let's go down here and work on these lily pads. So I'll just put some lily pads in here, and if you have a nice round, if you have a brush that doesn't have a really fine point, that's a good time to keep those because that's great for doing like lily pads, because you don't want it super round or pointy, because you don't want a pointy, you just want those round little areas, and so you just go down and make a little round circle. See, if you have it too pointy, then so that's good for these. I'll keep these brushes because they lost their point a little bit on them recently, because these are about 9 years old and I've been using them a lot, and so it's time to get myself a new set of brushes. And put some over here, and I think this will be dry, so I can actually show you how to take the masking fluid off over there while this is drying in the middle here. So we can't do the Heron unless we get the masking fluid off there. And actually I didn't put it on very nicely because I didn't go right to the line. Oh well. And look at how much darker hers is up here and stuff, so I can maybe still put darks in there. But let me show you. I use a rubber cement pickup. This is a rubber cement pickup. It's a little plastic rubbery thing. It's a rubbery thing, and what I do is I just go over. You can also use a Nita rubber eraser, but this works better because it kind of the rubber cement kind of, not rubber cement, but the masking fluid kind of adheres to this. It kind of sticks on there, and you just real lightly go over it. Look at how easy this is. And another thing I gotta tell you, when you're putting masking fluid on, most of you put too much on. You just need a small amount. You can even water it down. I put my brush in there, I water it down, I put it into this masking fluid right here. I put it in here, and this is pretty watery, this stuff. And just as long as you touch the paper, that's enough. I see people putting so much on it, it almost too much, and it adheres and it sinks into the paper. And you don't want that. You just want it to sit on top. Look how easy this is coming off. It's so easy to come off. Just don't put it on thick, and it won't tear your paper. It won't go into the paper. That's what most people have a problem with. They put it on so much, and then it tears the paper. And you don't want that. Now look at how bright those lines are. So that's how come I don't want to do that everywhere, like even on the reflection, because the reflection then would be so white and so hard edged. You could do it afterwards, maybe after you have a color down, like if this was a color beforehand. But now I'm gonna have to tone those down anyways because I want to make them the same kind of light blue kind of thing that's around that area. So then I'll tone it down a little bit. So I just put a little bit over it, and then I can maybe even make it darker behind them even. So just go over the whole thing little by little, because it'll show through, because this is transparent watercolor, so go right over there. I don't want any white. I don't want it to be white. And then what I can do later, and there's still I'll go in there and do some little parts that are a little bit darker. And this guy kind of, there we go. Do I have my hair dryer here? No, darn it. I'm gonna dry this fast. Nope. Didn't think about that. Oh wait, you know what? I do have a heater. Let me see. I can do this really quickly. Give me just a second. I have a heat gun, which I don't think you want to get too close with this one, but I'm just going to turn off the sound just for a second. I'm just going to put this over a little bit because I do have to dry that up. But normally you don't want to even use a dryer because it may take and put adhere the masking fluid to the paper. So we're just going to go this far away. I'm going to turn off because this is not too loud. Yeah, this is not loud at all. I'll keep it on the low setting. There we go. So this is not that bad. This is actually a power stripper. So you don't want to get too close. You don't want to burn up your painting, but I think this will dry it a little bit so that I can just keep going and get the masking fluid off of here so I can finish this thing. And so let me see if there's any questions while we're doing this. FYI, another artist by name of Roland Roycraft. Oh yeah, I've seen his work. Similar to Nita, he wrote a book filled with watercolors. Yeah, he does a lot of that Roland Roycroft. I remember He did a lot of masking fluid stuff and beautiful stuff. Yeah, I think I have his book too. Thanks, Paula. Wow, that's pretty hot. watch you don't burn your paper. You do need it totally bone dry though to take the masking fluid off, because if you don't make it bone dry, you have problems. You're gonna have some heavy duty problems. And now that I look at it, I should have made that darker behind there. Oh well. Too late. I should have right away made it dark because I wanted it to be dark behind where the lights are. And that way they'll stick out like she had done in her thing. The nice thing is you can always make things darker though. You can always make things darker. It's harder to make things lighter. Maria asks, can you show again how you put in the leaves on the bottom of the tree near the center? Yeah, sure. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit more. Sorry about that. So if you want to use the, basically, let me get another sheet of paper here. When you're doing that, here's the back of this paper. So like when you do this with, this is where I gotta do close up. When you do the leaves, and I do this on pine trees too, and I know a lot of you have noticed that before, that I use the back, I bend the point of the brush, I bend the point, and then that, what happens, I guess I should do it from the side. Let me see what's the easiest way to show you. So see, I'm bending the tip, I bend, and then I use the bottom bristles by pushing them into the paper. So I bend back the point of the brush, and I use the bristles that are behind the point to get the look of like pine needles. But you can also, if I do it downwards, it's hard for you to see, is that I make the leaves by those bristles, and then you can put a little line in there to make it look like, you know, the pine. So I'm basically using the bristles that are farther away from the point, because I bend the point away, and I use the bristles that are a little bit shorter, and those are the ones that are making my little leaves. A little trick I've used. And for doing pine trees, it's great, because when you do pine trees, watch this, you just kind of go in there and just bend both ways, and then it's an instant pine tree. So you just go right there and just instant pine tree. And it's basically the shorter needles are what's giving you that look. All right, thanks for the question. It's great. Also give me time to then wait. It's dry enough now, and I'm gonna go in here. You can also do it with your fingers, like I use your finger and you just rub across it. Especially if you don't put too much on. It's very simple to just rub it off with your fingers too. Or the Nita rubber cement pickup is definitely the easiest. And just make sure that it's dry and there's just nothing wet around it, because otherwise you pick up all that color and all that work you did on putting the, which I didn't do much work on this, all that work on putting the masking fluid down, it just goes right into the area that is white. And then messes everything you just did to keep it white. So I'm rubbing it off real quickly. Again, when you're using masking fluid, don't make it thick. I definitely highly recommend Holbein's because they're nice and liquidy. It's not too thick. The Pebeo, to me, sometimes tends to be too thick. You know, it's like, especially if you leave it open a little bit too much and it's kind of like gooey. This is almost like water when I'm putting it on there. It's like water. And then you put it on, as soon as you put it on, you don't want to make it really dark. It just repels. You saw I put very little bit on, a very thin layer. And this paper is not as tough as like a Arches, but look at it, it had no problem with it. And no problem. I'm just getting all the masking fluid off of there because I put it on thin. If I put it on too thick, it rips the paper. And you get many papers that are more fragile. And this paper happens to be a little bit more fragile than like a Arches, but the top layer, I love it that the top layer is, it doesn't absorb the paint as much, so then I can rub out really easily. So there are my leaves. Now look how bright those are. So what do? I'm going to put a wash of the color that those leaves are. So I'm going to take some blue and yellow, a nice light wash. I'm just going to put it right over it. I know it looks like I'm going to be covering it up, but it's going to be transparent. I'm just going to put it over that. And I may come back in because, like I said, I didn't get it dark enough on some spots. But it'll be light enough that I can see and where I'm gonna put my darks in there. They're way too bright right now, so that's okay if you put them and make them a little bit less vibrant. And that's normally what I would do is I'd make that color first, put the masking on top of that, and then when I peel it off, that color would be exposed then. But that's not the way I could do it because otherwise I have to wait till it dries, and that would be way too long. Okay, so oh my gosh, I only got 5 minutes left. I'm gonna do this bird real quick. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden the time went. So then the bird, and look at I didn't do a nice job on his beak. So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna put some nice lavendery blue for the reflection. Take some blue and lavender because it's nice. Look how nice and blue she's got the bird. I'll go in here, some water. I'm gonna leave the edge white, and the top edge here I'm gonna leave it white. I come through here, the back of the neck, and leave the front with light. And then the head, if you go look really close to the head, you can, just whatever you can see in the picture, paint it like that. Paint it exactly like what you see. Now I'm going to have to put white paint in here for the bird, for the beak, because I didn't put my masking fluid on there well enough to make it look nice. So, and here the leg will put in there. And put a little bit more green into him because he's going to be white, but the shadows will be a little bit of a reflection of the green that's around the bird. We have a little bit of that in there too. Now let's get our last of the darks because I need some really nice intense darks in here. So I'm going to get some nice intense dark greens and really push them out. Really make it. And I'm covering up some of these because it's wet because I just put that thing on there, so probably not the best time to do that. I should have waited a second. Good boy. I'll make it thicker then. I'll just make my paint thicker, that way it'll be a soft edge, but it will give me a line, which could be a good thing. So when something's wet, you're going to get a soft edge, but you can control that soft edge by how much paint you use. The thicker the paint, the less it's going to bleed in wet wash. And it's got really nice and dark, and that's cool. So go in there real quick, and now I gotta watch it that I don't go into there because that's wet too. I don't want to spend all that time that I did on there with the masking fluid and then ruin it all in one brush stroke. Now the bird on the bottom here is really dark. So again, nice thick paint, it'll stop it. Here, little waves. And then this is really dark over here. A lot of texture again. And then we've got a lot of little lines going here too with the leaves, which is great by just almost tapping and dabbing. And I just don't want one color green though, because then that defeats the purpose of having bunch of little greenery with orange and a little bit of everything here. I'm going to go around the beak right here and make it, I'm going to actually fix it with the dark. Okay, sorry I'm concentrating so I'm not talking. But sometimes when you concentrate, you forget about talking. Down here. And because I'm hurrying up, I'm trying to get this done. And actually I could go back in here with opaque, and I can actually go in there and try opaque by putting some of the leaves opaque wise and light some. You can do that too. There's so many different ways of doing things, and it's fun to see how many different ways there are by chopping and copying. Maybe there's another person that we can, copy like that does this kind of painting too. Whatever you can do to just advance your painting skills, it's all good. Just try it and see how it goes. Where's my big brush? I'm going to go in here now and get some nice pattern technique. Just going to tap it. Some pattern in here. Don't want to make it too dark. I just want to make it some texture. A bit of yellow. Now, this is a little bit opaque there. Somebody suggested, this is actually a really good idea, is find a stencil that looks like that kind of leaf. and then go in there. Because this right now I notice is just a little bit too, because I kind of wet it, and so I'd have to go in there, and we won't have enough time to do that. I'll maybe do it after this is over, and go in there and really make it nice and clean again. This part should be very clean. And this again gets dark, and so I'm just going to do a little texture here. This gets a little bit darker. Actually, this is all light right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rub this out. I'll rub that out a little bit. Put a little bit of green in there, and I'm going to make it opaque. I'm going to make it a little bit opaque in there. But I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it look good. And you should too. We'll do whatever you have to do to make things look good. Make it look like a willow. I'm going to have it coming down. Alright. I think the only thing I have left is his legs, and that'll be good. Oh, we're 1 minute past. Let me just put the leg in and we're done. Alright, we're going to put this leg right there. Alright, so there you guys have it. This could have been a little bit lighter and darker, and oh, I forgot this up here. Like I said, this one took a little bit longer in class too. I didn't actually finish it because there's a little bit more to do. There's a little bit more things to do in it than I can do in an hour, or even in class. It took a little bit longer, so spent a little bit more time on it, but that's okay. You know, it doesn't matter how much time you spend on something. It's, you know, learning and just getting it done. Don't time yourself. Don't try to get it done in an hour. Just go in and just get it done in your time frame. All right, so there we have it. Let me take the tape off, and we'll be done for another one. So this is fun, and what I'll do is I'm gonna, when this is off, actually, I'll just take the tape off now. But I will do a couple more things on it just to, when this dries. I'm gonna put some opaque in there just to make it just a little bit tighter in that area, and also work on putting the eye and stuff on the actual heron and giving him some feathers. But that's all detailed. You can do that when it's dry, and I'll just have to wait for that. So here you go. This is this now, and this afternoon's one was not even done, but here's the one I did this afternoon. Let's see, let's put that right there. Move this one over. So there you have it, guys. Two different styles. This one I did not use masking fluid. This one I did. I could have done a better job at the masking fluid because at the end here I just run a little bit too fast on getting off of there, but you get the idea. So have fun with it, guys. Post it on my Facebook BeckerArt group page, and we'll take a look at it. And if you need any kind of help with it, put it on there too, and ask questions, and we'll still help you out. All right? So until next time, next Thursday, we'll see you again. And if you have an idea of something you want to paint, let me know. All right? Where's my beer? Where's my beer? Where's my beer? So have a great weekend, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.